What's up, everybody? I'm here with Hozifa, one of the owners and founders of Mile High Customs. Is it fair to say that you're probably maybe one of the most followed shops in the industry?
I would say so, based off our social media following and what we're doing in the marketing industry. I would say so.
I think so. I see you guys pop up almost every single day on either Instagram, TikTok, follow you guys on YouTube. I think I follow you on Facebook too. I'm just not on that platform that much. I mean, we just got done giving a tour around the house, or around the shop. You showed me the 100,000 subscriber plaque that you guys got this year. I was also just looking at your social media before we got here. You guys just you reached over 100 million views on YouTube. How big of an impact has that had on your business?
I think it's made a huge impact, especially with social media, because people want to see who's working on their cars. They want to trust the people that are working on their cars. So I think being able to relay that through just basic YouTube videos, nothing too crazy or anything like that. They actually see the faces, the people, the shop that their car is going to be spending a few days at, whether they're spending a couple $100 or $10,000+ they can trust us, and they know like who's actually there, where their vehicle is being stored overnight and everything like that. So I think it's definitely made a huge impact, especially in today's age. Like maybe 10 years ago, it was a little different. You just had a magazine, or you just had like little photos here and there, or a website. But
radio.
Now it's like what you're putting out there is what people will actually follow. We get calls all the time like, hey, we saw a YouTube video that you guys were working the same car I have. I want to do the same thing, just based off that one YouTube video.
Let me ask you about that, because was that the plan from the beginning? Did you guys start taking content seriously on day one, year one?
No, I think our content wasn't even for like to be frank with you, it wasn't really for just like to market our company. I think it was just, hey, we want to just show what we do. There's a lot of obviously everybody sees YouTube and sees social media, you can make money off of it. We're like, hey, if it's something that supplements the business and sees what happens from there, we'll go from there. But because we obviously know social media isn't always going to be just people that live in your city or your town. This is a worldwide marketing. Mm-hmm. So that was part of it. It's like, hey, let's see if we can generate some revenue just strictly off social media. Honestly the first thought. And then we started to realize hey, this is actually let's start making informative videos, because people, that's what they want to see. They want to see hey, the process that you're working. They want to see the tools that you're using, and that way they can entrust that trust with you specifically, and then they see why they should come to you versus a competitor. If nobody else is, or if you have a few select shops that are showing everything that they're doing, versus a shop that just quotes you a price and they can tell you, hey, we're a 3 or 4 or 5-star company. How do you really know what that company is unless you actually see them working, video footage of the actual products and services that you're offering? So I think that was a big thing, is we realized very quickly that people were calling us all the time hey, I saw your video on whatever social media platform, and what products did you guys install on that? And maybe that's something that I want to do to my vehicle. And then we kind of transferred our thought process from just, hey, let's just make whatever type of videos to focus on the actual customers that will come here and give the information that they would be looking for.
On that note, which platform is it? YouTube? Is it TikTok?
We use all of them.
Which one's made the biggest impact? Which one do you feel right now is bringing the most clients?
YouTube and TikTok.
YouTube and TikTok.
Yep. Our TikTok following is about to close over 1 million. We have over 140,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I would say those are probably our top 2 platforms that we get.
So you're saying TikTok is bringing in, compared to all the other platforms,
Mm-hmm.
TikTok brings in the most clientele.
Mm-hmm. We have a check-in form that we have up front, and we actually list all our social medias on there, and we ask how did you hear about us? And out of all the social media followings, that's probably our number 1.
That's crazy.
And then YouTube's number 2, and then Instagram is 3rd.
There's so many shops. I would say most shops in our industry don't even post on TikTok. It's a video-only platform. They don't do video at all. They're still posting pictures.
So I tell you the background of TikTok, how we got introduced to it is actually a little crazy. So,
well, you got to share it now.
Well, yeah, definitely. That's what I was going to get to. So about 3 years ago, we did hire an in-house videographer / photographer. and we were only focused on Instagram and YouTube. And then he was telling us he's like, hey, can I like just, he's like, have you guys heard of TikTok? We're like, not really, like it wasn't really a big thing 3 years ago. And we're like, he just created the account for us, and he's like, hey, I'm just gonna take whatever footage I post on there and start creating it for TikTok. And then it just started like just going crazy on TikTok, and we're like, okay, I guess like we'll focus a little bit more on posting on TikTok. And then we started
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Look at these followers.
And then customers started hitting us up, and it was just a spiral from there. So it wasn't even something we internally started. It was our videographer's like idea.
Was this
like,
last year?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. So you guys were part of the early on, like, hey, jump on it now.
Yeah, so it was 3 years ago that he's the one that made the account. He made the credentials, login, and he gave it to us. He's like, hey, I just want to let you know I made this for you guys. And he was just posting on there, and he's like, hey, you guys are getting people that are asking questions. You guys want the login to? We didn't even have the login.
Oh,
we didn't
my
even
God.
like. He's the one that made it all himself. Like, we approved of it, and we're like, yeah, might as well just, it's another platform to post on. That's how we looked at it. We didn't really think of anything of it. And then he's like, hey, here's the login. You guys have DMs of people asking how much is this? They want to schedule appointments. And then we just took over like that side of the TikTok part. And
All
then,
the inbound?
Like all the inbound, like messages and leads. And then it just kind of kept on blowing up from there. And then it just kept on rolling with it, and we focused more on TikTok video platform, and then we would just take those videos, post those to Instagram rather than the other way around. And then the longer videos we posted on YouTube. And then also YouTube, I believe it was at the beginning of this year where they started doing shorts.
How has that been?
It's actually been really nice. We recycled all our footage from those other platforms and just put them on YouTube, because everybody watches videos differently. There's a crowd for TikTok, there's a crowd for Instagram, there's a crowd for Facebook. So like, even though you post the same content on all 4 channels all at once, like everyone is targeting somebody else.
You're not gonna like,
there's gonna be people that have all 4 or 3 or 2 out of the 4 of them, but I think posting on all of them across the platforms, like you're gonna have somebody unique on every single platform.
I'm pretty sure that's how I discovered you guys. I'm pretty sure TikTok was the channel, was the platform that I found you guys, because I was studying it, I was watching it, and my company, we're big on video marketing. So whenever we go and approach video marketing and we look at it, well, you can't ignore TikTok. It's the fastest, and still is the fastest growing social media platform. It's aged up faster than any other platform that we've had. It's made Facebook, people forget about this, it made Facebook tank for the first time in history. Like Facebook never lost revenue or lost users before until TikTok came onto the scene. So just think about that power there. But I seen you guys kept popping up on my feed, and TikTok's algorithm is really good at making sure you get in front of the same people, right? So once you get discovered, it's like I've seen all you guys' videos, and then we met last November
at SEMA.
At SEMA, we were going down the elevator, and then I seen Waleed.
You're like, hey, I see you.
I was like, oh, I know who you guys. And then I seen the shirt. I was like, oh, I know who you guys are. That was cool, man. That was cool. I was following you guys for a while.
It was right after that Lumar party. And I forgot where we went afterwards. I know we went somewhere else, but
we went to go meet up with Evan at 1 of 1. Shout out to Evan. But that's cool. I mean, I was really looking forward to kind of picking your brain there, because I wanted to know, is it the organic advertisements that's helping you guys this much, because you guys have such a strong presence there and your following is substantial, or is it the paid advertisement side? Because I even looked at your guys' website, and I know from our conversations, you guys don't just focus on organic marketing, you focus heavily on paid advertising too. So I mean, what would you say is more important? I think it goes
hand in hand. I think when you're first starting, organic is really, really tough, especially in a competitive market like ours. Anybody can just open up shop anywhere. So I think the biggest thing is being able to establish your name, whether that's through paid advertising, whether that's like door-to-door marketing or social media marketing. I think it's important to focus on any one of those marketing, because organic is eventually going to happen on its own with that repeat client and being able to being tenured in the industry for such a long time that you're naturally going to get that name out there. But I think the biggest thing in the first 2 or 3 years, we heavily focused on PPC, specifically on Google, and then we started investing into social media marketing, and I think it just took off from there. We started numbers wise, I think we started $1,000 a month, and then we saw a little bit of a return. We're like, hey, let's see what happens with $2,000 a month or $2,500, and it got to a point where we were spending just on PPC over $20,000 a month.
I believe it. Yeah,
I was like, hey,
100%.
obviously it's paying off. Why not keep doing it? And then now we've scaled back because we saw like, hey, let's test out what happens when you scale back some of that PPC marketing, and with like the organic marketing that we've already been established.
Oh
with.
yeah.
And I think
You're able
it's
to transition.
Yeah, exactly. Like long term, your goal is to transition from heavy marketing spend to like a little bit lower. You still want to spend because people are new in the industry all the time, so you're going to always have competitors. So you don't want to get to the top and then fall back down just because you don't want to invest in marketing.
There's a big notion, actually, if I could add on to that, there's a big notion, and I think it's from a lot of the veterans that are not used to having this much competition or this much demand, because our industry is growing. I was just looking at Google Trends, and I recommend anybody to do this. Look at how much demand and how much of a search volume increase is for paint protection film, color change wrap. I mean, that still is growing in demand. There's more people now than ever in 2023 searching for color change wrap, even ceramic window tint. Like ceramic window tint's it's not old, it's not new. It's been around for a long ass time, and
20
you're seeing
plus years.
Yeah, you're still seeing its increase. So I just think I hear it a lot from the veterans of the industry, and it's that you're supposed to stop advertising at one point. You're supposed to stop paying, or you're supposed to be able to stop and you kind of coast by. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you could tell just by like if you just use like Coke or Pepsi as an example. They've been around longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
And I believe when I looked last, they're spending millions of dollars in advertising.
Yeah.
So if a company that's as big as one of these huge conglomerates, everybody knows who they are around the world. I would assume so, but maybe not, and that's why they spend the money they're spending in advertising. They want to be top of mind. They always want to make sure that like whenever you go somewhere, that's what you remember.
Right.
So
One of my favorite examples is in San Francisco. There's this massive billboard that's on one of the major freeways, and Apple owns that billboard.
Yeah.
They're the trillion-dollar giant, first trillion-dollar company, if I'm not mistaken, and they're paying for billboard ads.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like, to your point, that's kind of self-explanatory. But you're going to talk a lot about marketing and scaling and growth at the conference.
Yep.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
We're gonna we haven't announced it yet, and you're watching the interview for the first time. Hozifa is going to be one of the speakers at this year's Auto Film Growth Conference. I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
No,
I get a little sneak peek now, though. I get to ask you ahead of time.
Yeah.
What you're going to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
So in the first 2 or 3 years, you were heavily focused on PPC, pay-per-click advertising, Google advertising, and then you started experiencing a lot of growth around that time, because that's where you kind of ran out of size here with the room that we're in now.
Yep.
This is a 2,000 square foot room that we just did a tour, and you just told me about it, and now you have another spot in the back that's another 6,000. So are you going to kind of talk about the transition at the conference, going from the 2,000 to add another 6,000 square feet?
No, that was definitely part of like the advertising. Like we wouldn't have been able to outgrow the space if we weren't advertising. If we were just relying on only organic growth, I think we would have eventually outgrown it, but I don't think in that short amount of time. So I think that's part of it. It's like, what's your focus? What's your goals with your business? If it's, if you're a one-man shop and that's what you want, then obviously like you gotta assess like where you want to be. But if you definitely want to grow the business and you want to actually be an entrepreneur rather than just a shop only, I think that's where it comes into play, is trusting the advertising and actually having a website that, a lot of people like, I even see like, I'm pretty sure you're part of like some of those PPF groups or Tint groups, somebody the other day posted like, hey, like I'm spending money on PPC, but I don't see a return on it. And then people are commenting, and then like, I think he mentioned that he doesn't even have his website up and running yet. So it's like, you're wasting your money. Like,
Google doesn't even trust you.
Yeah, and part of it, like, and that's part of understanding the marketing game is like, hey, like, you gotta still organically have everything set up, ready to go. Like you gotta have a website, you gotta have your social media platforms,
Google
just
My
organic,
Business,
Google My Business. You gotta have all those things in place. Then you gotta start spending the money. Because if you spend it without having it, like all those things in place, you're just wasting your money.
I agree.
That's the biggest thing, is like having the proper landing pages. And those are all things that you don't know until you actually start experiencing it. Even for us, like, we went through growing pains. We've probably been through 3 to 5 different marketing companies in the last 6 years, and we've been with the same one now for going over, I think this is our 3rd full year with them. And
awesome.
They've definitely grown our business, and we've seen success with it. And they heavily like help us out with making sure our landing pages are proper and everything is in place. We have a SEO person that's separate from them that he analyzes those statistics. And the biggest thing is just with marketing is don't just let anybody just control it. Make sure the owner at least is involved at some point or another.
God. Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yeah,
there's no autopilot marketing. There's
exactly.
no
There's
such thing.
Because
no such
if
thing.
you just give somebody thousands of dollars, they're gonna go do whatever they want with it. Like that's just
you
how
have
it
to
is.
check
But
it.
you
have to have a
check
finger on the
in.
pulse.
You gotta.
It just makes sense, right? Where in your business have you ever experienced? And this is kind of talking out loud. Like, where has anybody ever seen an explosive amount of growth in their business that didn't directly involve them or their idea or their supervision, right?
It's like maybe 0.001%, if that.
Or you get lucky when it happens. You get lucky, but try and duplicate that again. Like if you expect something to scale and grow and build and grow your revenue by 10, 15, 30%, 40%, you want to double your revenue over a period of time. If you're asking that, you should probably be a little hands-on and know how, not know how to do it, but how it works.
Yeah.
Right. I love what you said earlier. You were hinting at how you track your marketing activity. You have a simple check-in. Like how important is tracking to you guys? Do you really
it's
track?
very, very important, because if you're just spending the money and you don't know where the return is coming from, then how do you know where to spend it?
Yeah.
I can spend 20 grand a month on Google, but if I'm not tracking that, I might not even be making any money off Google.
Right,
I don't know.
right.
So unless you're actually tracking your results and you're seeing where your customers are actually coming from, then you're basically just throwing that money away. Like I said,
Numbers don't lie, man.
Yeah.
And I think what you're speaking to is the fact that you recognize there's multiple traffic channels. There's multiple channels of marketing. One is Google, paid ads. Another is Google My Business. Another is just YouTube, right? So I think I asked you earlier, but is the paid side doing? You're transitioning. You're transitioning right now. You're transitioning from paid over to more organic, and that took you 5-6 years to really pull that off.
Yeah, exactly. Like
it's never ending, right?
Oh yeah, like we still spend in the 5 digits for like paid ads. It's not like we're spending 2-3 grand.
Yeah.
Like we're still spending 10 grand plus a month on that PPC. It's not 20-25 like we used to, but it's still a healthy. Like 10 grand is still a decent amount of money to spend on PPC and Google ad, like on any type of paid social media marketing.
That's incredible.
So
you've increased revenue while lowering your marketing expense. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Like this year alone,
that's awesome.
We're probably going to spend maybe half the marketing spend, but we're still seeing a large amount of growth.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's a master level strategy there.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty advanced marketing.
And it's scary because
that's great.
Part of it's like a risk also lowering your marketing spend, especially if you've been doing it for so long and you have all the overhead that, our shops carry and you got employees to pay for and you got to make sure you're putting food on the table for them and you have high overhead and everything like that. So trusting that, it might not go so well if you lower your marketing spend, you got to just test it out. So success, thankfully, we've lowered our marketing spend and we talked with our marketing company, hey, it was a 6-month to a 12-month plan. Hey, let's see what lowering our marketing spend and actually focusing, instead of having a once a month call like I used to, I'm hey, I have a bi-weekly call with our marketing guy that we sit on a Zoom call for an hour every single Wednesday at 4 p.m. And we go over the analytics. We go over exactly the keywords that we're hitting and where we actually getting a return from, rather than just spend, but understanding which keywords are hitting home, and then push the majority of the funds there to make sure we're actually getting our money's worth.
I think it's incredibly important because your marketing team they look at numbers, and what I tell my team all the time is we could possibly have a beauty board. The numbers could look great. Our cost per lead could be perfect. It's not too high. It's not too low. It's where it needs to be, and to the point where we know we can scale it. But at the same time, we're not talking with the customers all day long. So that communication is vital between the marketing and sales team, because the sales team often catches issues or mistakes before the marketing team can, just purely because you guys are the first ones on the phone with the client. If the client submits they give you a call and you answer in 30 seconds, 10 seconds. Well, that's a little faster. You're going to get feedback on the marketing activity a little faster. So that communication, it seems like you guys have real strong communication with your team.
Yeah, definitely. No, we have weekly meetings with our whole staff. Our CRM system even tracks all our PPC.
Nice.
We just have the tracking on the back end that we implemented, and it tells us exactly which keyword they actually search for. to get that lead. So we have it
Now
like,
you're going to give away some of these strategies, these frameworks at the conference, are you
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, definitely. That's part of it. You know, it's part of the plan. Like, you know, we want to see this industry keep growing. We want to see growth everywhere, because the more people that offer it and the more people that do it the right way,
Yes.
then naturally, like you were saying, like, you know, what was this industry 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
But the more, like, yeah, the more competition is not always a bad thing. You know, the more people that do it, then people like, hey, like, you know, if so-and-so, if 10, 15 of their friends are doing it, they're just going to join. Like, hey, I wanted to get my car done. I want to get it wrapped. I want to get it protected. I want to get it tinted. Whatever service you're offering, the more people that
Right.
offer it, you know, there's 10 tire shops sometimes within 3-mile radius.
Oh
You
man,
know,
I
like-
was just talking to Ryan Downsley.
Yeah.
He's in Florida right now, and I believe he said there was 37 window tint shops between his drive of where he's living to the shop.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's my question though, to put that into perspective. Here, even Denver, Colorado, it's known as being one of the most competitive markets in the whole country. It's like LA is very competitive. Denver, Colorado
Within
is
our
very
shop,
competitive.
within 3-mile radius of our shop, there's, I believe, over 15 to 20 shops.
And yet you're still having record-breaking years, year after year,
Yeah.
growth year after year.
Mhm.
You know, so what is next? Like, is there a 5-year goal, 10-year goal? I know that there was a 3-acre
Yeah.
plot of land that you just bought.
Yeah, part of it, part of the goal is, you know, like, you know, obviously we're renting now, and we definitely want to have our own custom shop. We want to have a state-of-the-art facility, you know, as part of that experience that we want to give the customers. Like, you know, just like you go to a, you know, a high-end dealership, you know, we want to give that same experience. You know, we want to have the nice tile floors. We want to have the nice, like, building that we're able to present our company based out of. And, you know, we recently acquired some real estate that we want to hopefully within the next 24 months have our own facility where everything is under one roof rather than running back and forth between the
Man.
two shops, because, you know, that does get a little old sometimes.
Man.
And then, you know, we want
It's
to be able to
huge.
give that experience, like, you know, have our own custom delivery bays and, you know, just turn the whole industry around. You know, that's, you know, why get into an industry if you don't want to transform it? You know, like,
No,
you
you
know,
guys are definitely innovating.
yeah,
I
like,
think
you know,
guys
that's
are
part of it.
innovators.
It's like, you know, we don't want to just keep doing what everybody else is doing. We want to take it to that next level where, you know, we're able to, you know, show, like, hey, what a true shop can actually do and look like and perform at. So I think the biggest thing is that people get mistaken in this industry is everything comes down to the dollar, but I think it's more than that. You know, I think money will come as long as you're doing everything else right. You know, you have, you know, your customer satisfaction, you're making sure that you have the right team working, your quality is up there, and then all that boils down to, like, that marketing that you're doing. You know,
Yeah.
if you have you could spend money on marketing, but if you don't have good quality or you don't have a good team that backs it up, then yeah, you can get that one and done
Yeah.
customer rather than that repeat client. You know, you spend that money in the one customer, that marketing doesn't pay off always right away. You know, to get one customer, I don't even know what the dollar amount is. You might know, but, you know, sometimes to get one customer is $50 to $100 per customer.
Yeah.
And imagine that customer now comes back 3-4 times in a 6-year period. You only spent $50 the first time.
There it is.
And now you have a lifelong customer that has spent maybe 10 grand plus with you in the matter of 3-4 years. And that's where that marketing, that's how you truly look at marketing. It's not just, hey, they come once and you already spent the money and you're done. No, that customer, as long as you have the customer service and the quality product and quality results, then that turns into a lifelong customer and they don't even ask for price anymore. You
Yeah.
know, they
I mean,
just-
how do you accelerate word of mouth, right? You
Yep.
got to be louder, right?
Yep.
So maybe that first person is technically not word of mouth, but that person that you paid $50 for, $100 for through your advertisement efforts, they're going to talk to 5 people. They're going to talk to 10 people, right?
Yep.
And that's word of mouth still. So you can accelerate it, you can blow it up. But I'm excited to see what you have to say on stage.
I'm excited too. It's going to be exciting, and it's definitely going to pay off in the long run, especially for people that have never done it before.
Now, you didn't make it to last year's growth conference. It was right
No.
before SEMA.
Yep.
This year, it's not a one-day conference. It's a 2-day conference, right?
Yep.
I'm still putting it together. I can't tell you if you're on day 1 or day 2 yet, because that's something that, you know, it's very technical. But I mean, what are you expecting this year? What are you thinking? What are you looking
I
forward
didn't
to?
go last year because part of it was, we were trying to grow the business, and after we acquired the real estate, we're checking out, we don't want to just build any shop. We went around the U.S. to check out a few other shops that, some high-end shops, and seeing their layout, seeing their plans, how they operate. And that's why we missed the conference last year. We were planning on going.
And we did it in 2 months.
Yeah.
Mind you. We didn't exactly give everybody a heads up like this year.
No, but no, I think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be huge. I think it's a great thing for our industry because there's nothing really like it. You hear of all these corporate companies and they have their own trade shows. Yeah, I know we got SEMA, but SEMA doesn't really only focus on just our niche industry. It's just the whole automotive industry. So I think having something like this, and especially from a business ownership standpoint, that focuses on business owners, I think it's amazing.
And we have the support of the whole industry. The thing I love is that people come here to grow. People come here for that breakthrough moment. This is where the best of the best come together and really just help the industry move forward. So much so that we have a lot of sponsors. Actually, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I want to put the sponsors out there because we got to show them love. We got to support them because they're supporting us, and they're investing in helping this industry grow too. Yeah. But we have Tint as our diamond sponsor at the Growth Conference this year. We have 3M and Eastman as our gold sponsors at the conference this year. I know I didn't even get the chance to tell you about these, right? And then we have Legend, Art to Shine, Detailers Innovation, Expel. Who else? MediaTune. Shout out to MediaTune team. Make More Money LLC, and GeoShield, Mr. Burns. So appreciate all you guys. Can't wait to see you guys at the Growth Conference.
That's amazing. Having all these manufacturers back the conference too, it just shows, obviously you guys are doing something right.
Oh, you know what?
And that's one of the reasons why I reached out. I was like, hey, let's do something together and, focus on it.
Yeah. And the newest addition is Steck. Let me ask you a question. Who are you looking forward to seeing speak this year?
I know you've already announced Ryan Townsley. He's one of the guys. I checked out his shop.
He's not speaking this year.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Let me start over.
I've been seeing some of his videos. I wasn't sure if you were going to announce him as a speaker or not.
We're not.
I know
he might do something with us, but I got to talk to him. So let me ask you a question. I love production, man. It's so fun. Okay. All right. So let me ask you a question. Who are you looking forward to seeing this year at the Growth Conference?
One of the guys is Philip Chan. One of the reasons is I know he also we actually checked out his shop last year, and I know he expanded his shop we doubled our square footage and he doubled his. So I want to kind of see, I know he came out with a video about what he's doing to fill that space. It's always good to kind of get that inside view of other shops that are going through the same experience as we are.
Oh yeah.
Not just because we're successful at what we're doing. There's always room to learn. There's always room for growth. So even though we're at the level where we're at, I think it's great to still talk to other business owners in the same industry, get ideas, throw ideas off other people. So I think what he's going to say in the conference is going to be really, really great.
Yeah, most of the time you're one idea away,
yep.
Right? But a lot of entrepreneurs, they think it's I have to do something completely different. In reality, it's just you just got to alter your course just a little bit. You just need to tweak this thing that you're doing, and you're going to experience that next 10, 15, 30, 40, 50% of growth.
Yep. No, I think it's going to be exciting. I know you guys have a lot of great speakers, and it's going to be one of those conferences where everybody's going to learn. People that speak on stage and the people that are watching as well too, the attendees. So I think it's a great opportunity for everybody. And I think this is the second year that you guys are doing that.
Second year, yeah, second year.
I think it's just going to keep going up from there, and I think it might even be where it's separate. It's its own thing rather than always at SEMA. I think it's going to be where it's its own different conference where it might even be 3 days.
That's going to be up to the attendees, man, because we've talked about it, we've debated hey, let's have it here, let's have it there, but people like the convenience, and then other people, they're like, man, I'm only coming because your conference. I'm not even going to SEMA. It's too much time in Vegas. No one likes to spend more than 3 days in Las Vegas. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, in the first year we had 170 attendees. This year we're going to shatter that, and now it's a 2-day conference. Next year, who knows? Just as it builds, as more attendees come, and as more people come to to contribute to the growth of the industry, but at the same time take something away so they can grow. Like our industry needed that. Our industry needed that. How do you really accelerate growth on inside of an industry? Because we're clearly going through growth. How do you do that? Well, you have to raise the standard, right? You have to learn from others. You have to figure out what you can do to ride the wave with them, because then the momentum won't slow down. If everybody gets stuck because they don't know how to do X, Y, and Z, well, then guess what? The whole industry gets stuck too. So we're hoping that, man, I'm just pumped up for it. It turned into a passion project for sure.
No,
you can only hear so much feedback from people on how it's helped them and kind of not get.
And that's one of the
about it.
reasons I reached out. You know, I was like, hey, this is like something different. It's new to the industry, like you said, and I feel like it's definitely needed. Like you said, you know, you see other people kind of riding that wave. Like, hey, let's continue that momentum. Let's keep going up in the industry and
let's see where we end up.
Like raising the standards. When you said that really hit home.
Yeah.
The reason for that is like, you know, like I said earlier, you know, there's so much competition. People can open up a shop anywhere in your garage if you really want to. But I think raising that standard and kind of creating barriers of entry is always good for the industry. That way you're not just having just like anybody left and right being able to do whatever they want. You know, you want to raise the standards so customers can expect that standard to be there, whether they come to my shop or the next shop. You know, we don't want a hack job left and right. You know, we want to make sure things are done right. And, you know, they experience a bad experience at one shop, they might think that's all the shops. So they're never going to get PPF fill ever again. They might not get ever window tint ever again. They might not even get, you know, a lot of times with color change specifically, you know, that some people have a bad juju with it because you got everybody wrapping cars left and right, and then people are cutting in paint.
Oh,
so
man.
it's being able
Brand
to like
new car,
exactly.
everywhere.
No, we just had that experience. I don't know if you saw the video on TikTok. You might have.
I
the
probably
green
did.
Mercedes.
Was it okay? It was a Mercedes.
Yeah,
okay.
That green Mercedes. You know, somebody wrapped it in their garage and brand new Mercedes, and the person, you know, they wrapped other cars so the customer trusted them with it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And
that's painful.
yeah, that car needed like probably $5 to $10 grand worth of paint work to get it back to where it needed to be. So it's
good luck chasing the guy in
exactly
the garage,
like you do that in the industry, and then now like it just like people won't come to our shop even though that's not the same results that they're going to get. So it's just, you know, raising the standards I think is very, very important in our industry. So that way everybody will see value in the product, not just, hey, I could do it for $1,500 across the street, but you're getting total like work that shouldn't be getting done.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
The whole Auto from Mastery team appreciates you for coming to the stage and helping raise the standard. And man, thank you for letting me come in today. This has been awesome. I've really been wanting to come here for a while, bro.
No, you're always welcome. We're always open.
I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right, that's a cut.